Okay, Orlando Wilson here, and what I want to talk about this morning is NGOs. I got an article up on my blog that's titled NGOs, the New Colonists, etc., etc. And a few people have said to me, "Oh, that's pretty anti. It's NGOs just do positive, etc., etc." Well, to me, that's BS. I've also had people say to me, "You know what? You're limiting your potential clients because a lot of NGO people look at that and they won't deal with you." You know what? NGO people aren't my type of client anyway. And you know what I say in other videos, if you're in the close protection investigations business, you need to find your niche. And I'll explain things further as we go along in this video. My niche is not mainstream NGOs. I deal with serious people, and if somebody's serious, if they need serious services, I found out that it doesn't matter what their background is, they'll reach out and we'll do business. So let's talk about NGOs. You know what? There's good people. I know some very good people that work for NGOs that are looking to do the right thing. But the trouble is with NGOs, there's a big contradiction because there's a lot of people in the NGO world that's just there for profit. I've taken notes for this one because this is going to be a long one. There's a few things I need to cover on this video. I saw it years ago when I was working in Haiti before the earthquake. And a lot of the NGOs there, they all used to hang out at the hotel, the Montana Hotel, and they could be found hanging around the swimming pool, etc. That's where they seem to do most of their business meetings, with hanging out at the Montana next to the swimming pool with the Dominican prostitutes. Sorry, their Dominican personal assistants and secretaries, etc. And they used to take a run into Port-au-Prince and maybe give out some aid, get some pictures taken, and then it was back to the Montana for cocktails. So this is where, even back then, my view of NGOs was not positive. So I didn't really see them doing much, apart from wasting their donors' money. During the earthquake in Haiti, I was in Haiti the day after the earthquake with a news crew. Where were the NGOs? Well, a lot of them got flattened, and the NGOs started turning up, I would say 5 to 7 days after the earthquake, and they were all hanging out at the airport because they were too afraid to go into Port-au-Prince. And the only people after the earthquake in Haiti that were out doing things I saw were the Cuban nurses, doctors, and the Venezuelans. Apart from that, the UN and all the other NGOs were hanging out at the airport until it was safe enough to go into Port-au-Prince. And those days, those first few days after the earthquake, if they had some balls to go out and actually do things, a lot of people could have been saved. But they were more worried about their own skins, which I understand. We had issues, we had media issues again in Haiti. Somebody wrote up an article on us to do with one of the local, what was a municipal security unit, municipal police unit for one of the cities in Port-au-Prince. We were working for Dalmar, Mayor of Dalmar. And we trained up a unit there called Brickor that was there to take care of the things that look after the community, because I'll leave it there. They were there to look after the community. And there was an issue, these idiots from Narco News, another liberal website, wrote up something about us, about our guys tearing up refugee camps, etc., tented camps. The story that goes with that was there was 3 police officers killed near the airport, and they gave chase to the people that killed the other cops gave chase, and they chased the killers into a tented camp on the outskirts of Dalmar. The cops didn't follow in because there was no light, there's no security, and they're going into an area. It was a mess. A tented camp in the middle of the night is not somewhere you will be running around with firearms and dealing with potential hostiles. Anyway, the next day, the mayor of Dalmar's office sent some of their people down to check out this camp to see who's there and what's going on. What they found out was there was only 2 families living in this camp, and those families was relocated. What was happening? The people were going to the camp during the day, this tented camp during the day, because the aid agencies were turning up and giving out aid. The people, the families, the women and children was going to the camp during the days were then going back to the home with the aid that was given out. The bricklayer went in and tore the camp down because there was no need for it. The only reason that camp was in existence was for people to get free aid from the aid agencies. Once the camp was torn down, everybody was crying, human rights stuff, etc. When, to me and anybody with half a brain, you look at it, that camp was there to justify the existence of NGOs. Because without a problem, there's no reason for the NGOs to be in existence. If you look at Haiti again after the earthquake, look at the Red Cross. Google it, it's fact. The Red Cross took $500 million, $500 million in aid, in donations for Haiti after the earthquake. With that, they built 6 houses, 6 shitty little houses. Where did the rest of the money go? Who knows? Has that ever been investigated? No. Again, Haiti, the Clinton Foundation. How much money did they take after the earthquake in Haiti in donations? Because the Clinton Foundation, the Clintons owned land in Haiti, in Jacmel. Who knows? Isn't it, I think, embezzlement where you take money from people and the money just disappears? Have the Red Cross, the Clinton Foundation ever been investigated for all the money that disappeared from donations in Haiti? No. So this is where there's a lot of good people working for NGOs. There's also a lot of questionable people working for NGOs. I remember doing something, an event in London, and it was the glitziest event I ever done. It was for the Russian-British Red Cross, and it was in the Grosvenor House, etc. And you walked in, and there was a Aston Martin car. They even moved downstairs, and I mean diamonds everywhere, showcases, etc. Glitzy, and this was for the Red Cross. And I remember saying to somebody then, and this is a long time ago, well, if this is for a charity, then why don't they just give the money they're spending here to charity? And somebody said to me, I think it was one of the organizers, oh, but these people, they're all rich people, they need to get their money's worth, etc. Well, to me, it's a contradiction, because you look at how much money is spent on those events. Wouldn't it make sense? You mean they're spending $1,000 a ticket plus, and buying stuff for hundreds of thousands of dollars in raffles and this and that in plain stupid games? Wouldn't that money be better just being given straight to the people that need it? Yes, but these people, I think a lot of the NGOs, and I had this conversation with somebody very recently, a lot of these charities, a lot of these NGOs are just feel-goods for people. It's people with money to say, oh, look what we're doing. We're going to a $1,000 dinner, and part of that money is going to a charity, so we're good people. When wouldn't it be better just to give that $1,000 you're paying for some glitzy dinner, some glitzy dance, straight to the people that need it? The other thing with NGOs, a lot of people give because it's a tax write-off. It's tax deductible. And you see it online all the time. You see, the Bonos of the world, and at the music festivals and Live Aid or whatever they call it these days, all these multi-millionaires asking other people to give money when they don't give a penny themselves unless it's in their benefit. So this again, it's NGOs are a business, a questionable business. Some of my partners in an African country, shall we say, recently, or a few months ago, last year, said to me, they were trying to get approach NGOs for work, and they come back and they said, we're not dealing with these guys are haram. Because they saw that these NGOs are taking a lot of money, and instead of the money going to the people that need it, the money's going in their pockets, the money's going to their lifestyles. So my guys were like, we're not dealing with them anymore, because it's just, they don't want to spend money, they don't want to pay for services, but they're happy to live a lifestyle. And I was in one African country recently, and again, you see all the NGO vehicles with their special number plates, and they're not cheap cars. There was one, we were sat at a gas station, me and my people, and up turned some Land Cruiser, Toyota Land Cruiser, and it was a Gucci Land Cruiser. I'm talking top. And again, NGO car. Guy opened the door, got out, and he wasn't poorly dressed, but that way, you could see inside was all red leather, etc. That must have been a $120,000 plus car. Why is an NGO driving? Why is an NGO member driving around in that type of car in Africa? to impress people. Well, again, wouldn't that money be better going to the people that actually need the money? These NGOs claim they're taking the money for. Years ago, I done a course for somebody, a hostile environment course, BS. And a lot of the NGOs have to do them, so when they turn up on the courses, they're not that interested. And this gentleman was working for a company that was sending people to an African country to do statistics. And I said to him, well, why are you sending people to this country to do statistics? It's like, there's people starving in the country needs help, but they don't need statistics. Anyway, I said to him, because they were sending students there, I said, well, aren't these students going to get homesick, etc., and all the rest of it, and the welfare of the students? He says, no, we're only sending people there. There's going to be a group of students going every 2 weeks. This was from the US. And I worked out, I done a quick Google search. Airplane tickets, plane tickets from where they were based in the US to that African country were running about $4,000 a ticket minimum. So they had a group of 4 to 5 students going every month, twice, every 2 weeks. So do the math. We're talking, if they're sending 5 students every 2 weeks, you're looking at $50,000, $40,000 to $50,000 a month on plane tickets. Wouldn't that money be better off going to the people that actually need it? I take it somebody at that university had an NGO, or somebody associated had an NGO. Some country, some company, etc. needed a tax write-off. So why not give the money to the NGO that makes up some job for some students that looks good for the university, that they're sending their students overseas to do some aid work, etc., and everybody's happy. The money, the donations actually being recycled through the university, and no doubt people in the university are getting paid, and it's everybody's benefited. Are the people that's actually in need in Africa being benefited? Of course not. But again, this is where a lot of people set up NGOs for businesses. You set up an NGO, the board, if I know in a lot of places, understand in a lot of places, the board doesn't get paid, but people working for the NGO get paid. So the money goes to their brothers, sisters, uncles, cousins, friends who supply services to the NGOs and get paid, usually paid over market value for the services that they're providing. Again, United Nations, wherever the United Nations go, they tend to fuck things up, to put it politely. And again, my distance dealings with the NGOs, they're corrupt. If you want anything, if people want contracts from NGOs, etc., United Nations, you have to know somebody. That's a fact. If you're an outsider, you're not going to get any contracts from the UN. I know people that spent a lot of time and money trying to get contracts. Waste of time, waste of money. You have to know people, and generally people need to get paid. There needs to be kickbacks for you to get contracts with United Nations. And again, a lot of the security contracts with United Nations, there's that many little stipulations and little associations and things you have to join to be part of, all of which are making money off people that want contracts from United Nations. So it's a business. It's not really as transparent as it seems. Now, there's a lot of NGOs working in areas that are controlled by, shall we say, terrorists. How do they work there? Are they working with the terrorists? Are they paying the terrorists? Yeah, of course they are. And this is where a lot of aid agencies these days are being used by intelligence agencies, all intelligence agencies. Why? Because they have access to hostile areas. There was a big stink of one NGO that was exposed in Syria. I think the NGO was out of Southern Ireland era, where they were working. The only way they were able to work there because they were paying off recognized terrorist groups with money they were getting from Western governments, USAID, etc. And again, the only reason they were able to work in those areas is because they were giving money they were hiring terrorists or people associated with terrorist groups. They were giving out food to the terrorist groups, people associated with terrorist groups, etc. And that's the only reason they were allowed to work in these hostile areas. One NGO that comes to mind especially was the White Helmets, set up by a British Army officer that was working with ISIS, etc. How was an NGO set up by a British Army officer working with recognized terrorist groups? Because they were doing them favors. because they were paying people off. Because in a lot of ways, it was a two-way system where they're assisting the terrorists, and again, no doubt the terrorists are shipping back information through to interested people within Western governments. So this is where, when I see NGOs working in terrorist areas, and this could be, again, Somalia is another example, how are the NGOs doing it? Well, they're most probably doing it with the blessing of the governments that's giving them the donations, and also the blessing of the terrorists in those areas, because nothing's for free, right? There's been how many cases of NGOs caught funneling money to opposition groups in various countries, and I know this for a fact in one specific country I deal with. People have been caught there with hundreds of thousands of dollars, people working for NGOs, and that money has come in through questionable sources, semi-official sources, and been brought in to do nothing but funnel to opposition groups and cause problems within the country. So this is where I'm always very wary of a lot of NGOs for that, not just the corruption perspective, but who are they actually working for perspective. Now, you look where a lot of these NGOs are based. A lot of them are based out of Geneva. And Geneva is an expensive city. I don't particularly like the place. I've spent time there. It's not a city that I like. But again, it's a very, very expensive place to live, work, etc. I say to people, I think everything in Geneva is double the price it is in the Western Europe at least. I remember visitors. I remember years ago, and again, I've dealt with NGOs quite a little bit, and some of the people I was dealing with was on about setting up an NGO. And I still have people that talk to me about setting up NGOs. And I met with one person. We had a meeting was scheduled through people that knew people in one European city. I'm not going to say Athens, but it could have been Athens. And we went for this meeting with this lady. We were told we have to meet her if we want to set up an NGO, because she is the best fundraiser. She can get the license for the NGO, etc. And the issue in a lot of places, especially from what I understand Greece, is it's very difficult to set up an NGO to get the permits, because there's been that much corruption, especially when all the refugees were coming into Lesbos, etc. And there was good people working there, but on the other side there was a lot of corruption. We met this lady, and we went to her offices in a very plush part of Athens, and she had one office for her staff, and she must have had a floor of an office building. Very minimalist, very designer, etc. And initially we went and met her personal assistant in the side of her offices that was for her staff, and it was like large and very, very Gucci. A hell of a lot of money went into setting that up just on design alone. So again, wouldn't that money be better going off to the people that need it rather than setting up her office? Maybe. We then went in to meet this lady, and all I can say was she was plastic. I think that much plastic surgery from her tits to her lips to her eyebrows. Her personal suite where she had her meetings was all Gucci, large, leather sofas, personal, but like bar area, etc., etc. It was more like a swanky apartment. So again, wouldn't this money have been better? Wouldn't the money she's raising, or all the people she's helping, and the money she's taking, wouldn't that money be better off going to the actual people that need it, rather than her having plastic surgery and having a whole floor of a office building for her Gucci suite so she can fundraise for who knows what? But again, this to me was the corruption of the NGOs of, okay, where's the money actually going? People are giving it how much in donations, and the money they're giving in donations is actually going in somebody's pocket. So this is where, as I said, there's a lot of people that's doing a lot of good work for NGOs. The frontline people I know are going out and working in difficult situations, putting up with a lot of BS, putting themselves in personal risk, not just from physical assault, rape, but also from disease, etc., etc. Where in the meantime, behind them, you've got a lot of people sat in swanky offices, making a lot of money, not really doing much. It's a business. And this whole thing of getting money in grants, getting money from USAID, getting money from all these foundations, a lot of it's who you know. These people know people, the money comes in, it's filtered to some people, it's kicked back to some people, etc. And the end result is a small percentage of that tends to get the people that actually needs it. So this is where, as my associate said, in Somalia, a lot of the NGOs there, they've been in contact with our haram, and I think we'll leave it there. So a long video, but it's a detailed topic, and I think this is something NGOs especially in the security world, everybody harks on about them, but again, do you really want to deal with them? Do you really want their money? Money's money, but certain things are, how can we put it, haram. Anyway, follow me along on social media. I've got a lot more of these videos up. I've got an array of books up on Amazon that talk about various aspects of the close protection, investigations, business, crime fiction, life skills, etc., etc. So check out my books. Check out our blog, Truth Only Has a Few Friends, which is also now combined with the Risk Incorporated blog, www.riskinc.com. We're back doing the courses. We've been off doing the training courses for a while because we've been busy the last few years providing services. But we're getting back into the swing of things with the social media and everything else. We're up on the main platforms. If you look, you can find us. We even have a TikTok account we don't use very much because it's TikTok. But we're up on Instagram, YouTube, and I've even just reset up a Facebook account which is under my name, Orlando Andy Wilson, rather than the business names, because we had too many issues with Facebook in the past. So follow us along on social media. Any questions, feel free to reach out. And if you need services, if you're serious, again, reach out to us. And we're happy to have a conversation. Likewise with training, reach out to us. We're happy to have a conversation. If you think we can get along after the conversation, then we can talk business. In the meantime, be good, stay safe, stay out of trouble. And as I said, always question things, especially don't believe everything you read on the internet, and don't believe everything an NGO tells you it's doing or going to do.